Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Easy English Podcast. Tonight, we're going to talk about learning English by yourself at home. You don't need a teacher or a classroom to speak English well. We'll share some simple ideas and true stories to help you. So get comfortable, grab a warm drink, and get ready to feel inspired. You can learn English well right where you are. It was a quiet evening. I sat in my room with a notebook. My big dream was to speak English well. But I didn't have a teacher. I didn't go to school. I had no one to talk to in English. Still, I truly believed I could learn it at home, all by myself. Every day, I told myself one important thing: I will not give up. I didn't know many words. My grammar wasn't perfect, and my pronunciation wasn't good. But I had a strong wish to learn, and I had the courage to try. That was enough to begin. I looked around my room. My notebook was empty, but my heart was full of questions, full of hope. Could I really learn English without help? Could I really speak easily without going to a school? Then a small voice inside me said, "Yes, you can. If you feel this way too, this podcast is for you. Stay with me. I will show you everything step by step." Let me tell you the truth. You don't need a classroom to speak English well. You don't need a big plan or expensive books. You just need a small start and a strong heart. You can do it right from your bedroom. This is your space. This is your time. You are not alone. We are with you. Let's begin. It was a new morning. The sun was shining, but my heart felt a little heavy. I wanted to speak English. I wanted to be good at it. But I didn't know where to start. There was no teacher. There was no classroom. I was at home. I was alone. And I was a little afraid. I looked around my room. It was silent. I sat on my bed and asked myself, can I really learn English like this? My mind said, it will be too hard. But my heart said, try. So I began. I looked at my table. I said, this is a table. I looked at my chair. I said, this is a chair. I looked at the window. I said, this is a window. These were easy words, but saying them felt strange. I spoke slowly. I felt shy, but I kept going. I walked to the kitchen. I saw a cup. I said, this is a cup. I saw a spoon. This is a spoon. I saw a plate. This is a plate. I talked to everything as if it were my friend. I gave English words to the world around me. Then I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at my own face. I smiled and said, hello, how are you? I laughed a little. It felt silly, but it felt good. I asked myself, what is your name? I answered, my name is Sam. I said, nice to meet you. I answered, Nice to meet you too. This was my first English conversation, and I had it with myself. I sat down again. I opened my notebook. I wrote some new words. Then, I said them out loud. I said them again and again. My voice wasn't perfect, but it was my voice, and it mattered. Even if no one heard me, I spoke. At first, I made many mistakes. Sometimes I forgot words. Sometimes I said them the wrong way. But I didn't stop. I kept going because I knew that mistakes are part of learning. When you speak English alone, you might feel strange at first. You might feel shy. You might feel scared. But every word you say is a small win. Every sentence is a small step forward. I talked to myself when I brushed my teeth. I said, I brush my teeth. When I made tea, I said, I boil water. I take the cup. I pour the tea. I turned my daily life into simple English. It became a part of my day. The best thing about this was that I could speak slowly. I could speak many times. No one laughed at me. No one corrected me. I felt safe. I felt free. I felt like I was building a new part of myself. Real confidence doesn't start on a stage. It doesn't begin in front of many people. It begins in your room. It begins when you speak, even when you feel afraid. It begins when you use your voice, even when no one is listening. That day, I didn't learn many words. I didn't learn grammar. But I learned something more powerful. I learned to begin. And that is the first secret of learning English at home. You begin even when you are afraid. You speak even when you are alone. And slowly, your fear becomes your strength. This is how my English journey started. One object, one sentence, one mirror, one voice, mine. And that voice will grow stronger every day. The next day, I woke up with a new question in my mind. I asked myself, how do babies learn a language? They don't read books. They don't learn grammar rules. They just listen all day, every day. They hear their parents. They hear songs. They hear people talk. They don't understand everything, but they still listen. So I decided to do the same. I would learn English like a child. I would listen. I would listen every day. I didn't need to understand every single word. I just needed to hear the sounds, the rhythm, the music of English. I wanted to train my ears. I took my phone. I searched for English podcasts for beginners. I found one called Slow English Stories. The voice was slow and clear. I listened to the first story. It was about a girl who goes to the market. The story was simple. I understood most of it. I smiled. I felt good. Then I found another podcast. It was just 5 minutes long. The speaker talked about daily life, eating breakfast, taking the bus, going to work. I listened carefully. I tried to repeat some sentences after the speaker. I didn't repeat all of them, just the short ones. My voice was soft, but I spoke. After that, I went to YouTube. I searched for easy English conversations. I found videos where two people spoke slowly. One said, "Hello, how are you?" The other said, "I'm fine, thank you. And you?" I knew these words. I paused the video. I repeated the sentence. I said it again and again. I learned a new way to listen. I didn't listen like before, just for fun. I listened for learning. I listened with purpose. I listened with focus. I listened to copy. I listened to understand. I listened to grow. I made a small plan for my day. When I cooked breakfast, I played an English audio. I listened while I cut vegetables. I listened while the water boiled. I didn't look at the phone. I just listened. My hands worked, but my ears learned. When I cleaned my room, I put on another podcast. I listened to how people said things. I noticed the words they stressed. I heard how their voice went up and down. I felt the rhythm of English. I didn't repeat during cleaning. I just listened and felt. Later, I went for a walk. I took my headphones. I played a short story in English. I listened again and again, the same story 3 times. Every time, I understood more. I heard something new. I felt proud of myself. Sometimes, I didn't understand everything. That's okay. I didn't stop. I didn't feel bad. I knew that even if I didn't understand today, my ears were getting stronger, just like a baby. At night, before I slept, I played one last audio, a bedtime story in English. I closed my eyes and listened. I didn't understand every word, but the voice was calm. The words were soft. My brain listened. My heart listened. I slept with English in my ears. This is how I learn English now. I listen every day. I don't study. I don't memorize. I don't write. I just listen like a child. I listen at breakfast. I listen while walking. I listen when I clean. I listen before sleep. And slowly, something started to happen. I started to think in English. I started to hear English in my mind. Even when I wasn't listening, English became a part of my world. If you want to speak English, first learn to listen. If you want to talk well, first listen well. Listening is not passive. It is powerful. Your ears are your first teachers. Train them. Use them. Trust them. It was a rainy afternoon. I sat near the window with a hot cup of tea. I felt quiet. I felt calm. I remembered my teacher once said, "Reading is the secret to fast learning." I thought about that. I opened my phone and searched for easy English stories for beginners. I wanted to try reading today. I found a short story. It was called A Day in the Park. The sentences were very simple. Tom wakes up. He eats breakfast. He goes to the park. I knew almost all the words. I started reading slowly out loud. I spoke every word clearly. I felt happy. This was not difficult. I could do it. I finished the story in 5 minutes. I read it again. This time, I understood more. The third time, I read faster. My voice was smoother. My eyes moved quicker. I smiled. I felt good. I didn't just read words. I lived inside the story. I saw Tom. I saw the park. That day, I decided to read every day. Not long stories, not hard books, just easy English. 10 or 15 minutes was enough. The goal wasn't to finish a book. The goal was to enjoy the words and grow. The next day, I found a story about a girl and her cat. Then, I read a story about 2 friends who go shopping. The sentences were easy. The words were simple. But the stories were full of life. I felt connected. I felt like I was learning something real. I started to notice something amazing. I saw words again and again. The word walk appeared in many stories. He walks to school. She walks to the shop. They walk together. Every time I saw the word, it became stronger in my mind. I didn't need to write it down. I didn't need to memorize it. I just saw it many times, and my brain remembered. This is the power of reading. You learn words in context. You don't just learn one word. You learn the full sentence. You learn how native speakers use it. You learn what words go together. You don't need to ask, "Is this correct?" You already feel it is correct. Sometimes I found a word I didn't know. I stopped. I opened a dictionary. I read the meaning. Then I read the sentence again. Now I understood. I didn't write the word. I didn't make a list. I just moved forward. If I saw that word again tomorrow, I would understand it better. I also tried to read out loud. I sat in front of a mirror and read the story. I looked at my mouth. I listened to my voice. I didn't care if I made mistakes. This wasn't a test. This was practice. Reading also helped me with speaking. When I read more, I spoke more easily. My sentences came out faster. My words were more natural. I didn't pause much. I didn't translate from my own language. I thought in English because I read in English. After 1 week, I felt more confident. I read 2 or 3 stories. I enjoyed them like movies in my head. I started to guess meanings. I understood more without the dictionary. English felt less like a stranger. It felt like a friend. And now, reading is part of my day. In the morning, I read 1 short story. In the evening, I read a longer one. Sometimes I read the same story many times. It helped me remember better. It made me fluent. If you want to practice English at home, start reading. Start with short stories. Choose something simple, something fun, something you enjoy. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about big words. Just read. Make reading a habit. Read every day, even for 10 minutes. Read with your heart. Read with your voice. Read with your mind. And one day, without even trying too hard, you will find that you can speak better, think fast, and understand more. Reading is not just about words. It is about the world. A new world that you can enter with English. It was evening. I sat alone, listening to an English story on my phone. The voice was slow, clear, and beautiful. The speaker said, "My name is Emily. I live in New York." I paused the audio. I repeated the sentence. I tried to say it the same way. My name is Emily. I live in New York. I listened again. I spoke again. This was my first time doing shadowing. I learned this word from a video on YouTube. The speaker said, "Shadowing means repeating after a native speaker immediately after you hear the sentence. Like a shadow that follows someone. You hear, you speak, you copy everything. Words, sound, tone, rhythm." I felt nervous. I had never done this before. I was afraid I would sound strange. I was afraid I would say the words wrong. But I reminded myself, no one is watching. I am at home. I am safe here. I chose a short audio clip, just 1 minute long. The speaker talked about her day. I pressed play. She said, "I wake up at 7 a.m. I paused. I repeated, "I wake up at 7 a.m. I tried to copy her voice. I tried to sound the same. Then she said, "I drink coffee in the kitchen." I paused. I repeated, "I drink coffee in the kitchen." I said it again and again. Slowly, I felt better. My voice became smoother. I stopped feeling afraid. I started enjoying it. Shadowing feels like music practice. It's not about speaking fast. It's about speaking right. It's about listening with care and repeating with focus. I made a small plan. Every day, I will do 10 minutes of shadowing. I will use short clips with subtitles. First, I listen. Then I read the subtitles. Then I pause after every sentence and repeat, step by step, line by line. At first, I made mistakes. Sometimes I said the word wrong. Sometimes I forgot the sentence, but I didn't stop. I went back. I tried again. I spoke louder. I spoke clearly. I spoke with heart. After a few days, I noticed something. My pronunciation was better. My tongue moved faster. My voice sounded more natural. I could say full sentences without thinking too much. I felt more confident when I spoke. Shadowing helped me a lot. It taught me how real English sounds. Not the English in grammar books, but the English people really use. I learned how they link words. I learned how they use intonation. I learned where their voice goes up and where it goes down. And the best part, I don't need anyone else. I just need my phone, some headphones, and a quiet place. I did shadowing in the morning before breakfast. I did it in the evening after dinner. Sometimes I did it while walking alone. I whispered the words. No one heard me, but I practiced. I also used shadowing before important events. If I had a school interview, I chose an English video about interviews. I repeated every line until I felt ready. It gave me courage. It prepared me. It worked. You don't need to speak with someone to improve your speaking. You can shadow. You can copy. You can train your mouth, your ears, and your brain at the same time. Shadowing isn't easy in the beginning, but it becomes fun. It becomes powerful. It becomes your daily exercise. If you want to speak like native speakers, you must listen like them and speak like them. Shadowing gives you this chance. It turns your quiet room into an English classroom. It turns your phone into a teacher. It turns your voice into a tool of learning. So, don't be afraid. Choose a short video. Press play. Pause after each sentence. Repeat what you hear. Do this every day. Just 10 minutes. And soon, you will feel the difference. Your voice will be stronger. Your words will be clearer. And your English will be more alive. All because you shadowed without fear. It was a sunny afternoon. I sat near the window with a notebook in my hand. There was no one around. The house was quiet, but my mind was full of thoughts. I felt the need to speak. I felt the need to practice, but there was no friend, no teacher, no class. So I began to talk to myself. It felt strange in the beginning. I said, "Hello, how are you?" And then I answered, "I'm fine, thank you. And you?" I laughed. It felt silly, but it also felt good. I wasn't waiting for someone to talk to. I wasn't waiting for the perfect time. I just spoke. I walked around the room and said what I was doing. I open the door. I close the window. I take a pen. I sit on the chair. These are simple sentences, but they are powerful. I spoke slowly and clearly. I heard my own voice. I felt my English growing. Later, I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at myself and spoke. I asked questions. I gave answers. I told short stories about my day. Today, I woke up early. I made tea. I cleaned the room. I watched a video. I felt like I was talking to a friend. But that friend was me. When I walked outside, I continued. In my mind, I spoke in English. I saw a dog and said, "The dog is running." I saw a man with a bag and said, "He is going to the shop." I saw a tree and said, "The leaves are green." My inner voice changed. It began to think in English. This is how I trained myself. By talking to myself. I didn't need a partner. I didn't need perfect grammar. I just needed words and courage. At first, I made mistakes. I forgot words. I mixed sentences. But I didn't stop. I corrected myself. I tried again. I smiled and moved on. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to keep going. Every day, I talk to myself about different things. Sometimes, I imagined I was in a cafe ordering food. Hello, I would like a cup of coffee, please. Sometimes, I imagined I was at the airport. My flight is at 10 a.m. Where is the gate? Sometimes, I played the role of two people. I created full conversations in my room. And slowly, I felt the change. I felt more confident. I spoke faster. My sentences came without thinking. My English became more natural. It became part of me. One day, I was talking to myself while cooking. I cut the onion. I add salt. I stir the soup. Suddenly, I realized I was speaking without fear. I was thinking in English without even trying. I didn't need to plan. It just happened. This is the power of self-talk. It is private. It is simple, but it is strong. It is your own free classroom. You can speak in the morning. You can speak at night. You can speak when you are alone. And the more you speak, the better you become. Talking to yourself in English helps your brain build language fast. It connects thinking and speaking. It teaches you to be brave, to use your words, to not wait for others. So don't wait. Start now. Look around your room. Say what you see. Tell a story about your day. Ask yourself questions. Answer them out loud. Talk to your mirror. Talk in your mind. No one is watching. No one is judging. You are free. The more you talk to yourself, the less afraid you will be to talk to others. Your English will become a part of you. Your confidence will grow from the inside. And it all starts with one simple thing: your voice. It was night. I was sitting on my bed with my phone in my hand. I asked myself, can I use this phone to improve my English? I opened my apps. I opened my settings. Everything was in my language. Then I had an idea. I changed everything to English. Now my phone spoke to me in English. Every time I unlocked it, I saw English words. It felt new. It felt strange, but it also felt exciting. This was the beginning of something special. I decided to use my phone not just for fun, but for learning. I wanted to use technology in a smart way. I wanted my phone to become my English teacher. The next day, I searched for English learning apps. I found one with simple vocabulary. It showed pictures and said the word out loud. I clicked and it said, apple. I repeated, apple. Then, chair. I repeated again. I did this for 10 minutes. It was fun. It was easy. I learned without stress. Then I found another app. It helped with speaking. It asked me to say sentences. I spoke, and it told me if my pronunciation was correct. It said, "Say, I am going to school." I said it. The app showed a green check mark. I smiled. I felt proud. I also used YouTube. I searched for easy English listening. I found a channel with short, slow videos. I watched one video about daily routines. A man said, "I wake up at 6 a.m. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast." I repeated each sentence. I paused. I spoke. I listened again. I watched the same video again the next day. This time, I understood more. My ears were learning. My mouth was learning. My mind was learning. Then I tried something new. I used voice typing. I opened a notes app. I spoke in English, and my phone typed my words. I said, "Hello, my name is Sam. I like to read books." The phone typed everything. If it typed the wrong word, I knew I said it wrong, so I tried again. Slowly, my pronunciation became better. I also used the dictionary app. When I read a new word in a story, I typed it in the app. It showed me the meaning. It also gave me an example sentence. I didn't try to remember the word. I just read it and moved on. If I saw the word again, I would remember it naturally. Sometimes I used Google Translate, but not too much. I used it only when I really didn't understand. I listened to how the word was spoken. I repeated it. I shadowed it. Technology was helping me, but I didn't use it all day. I used it with a plan. I gave myself 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. I used those minutes only for learning English. No games, no distractions. Even music became a tool for learning. I found English songs with subtitles. I listened. I read the lyrics. I sang along. This helped me with rhythm and pronunciation. I enjoyed it, and I learned at the same time. Sometimes I used English subtitles when watching movies. First, I watched with subtitles. Then I turned them off and listened. I tried to understand as much as I could. Then I checked the subtitles again. This helped me grow step by step. One day, I found a voice assistant app. I said, "What is the weather today?" It replied in English. I asked again, "What time is it in London?" It told me. I smiled. I was using English for real questions. I was learning through use. Technology is everywhere. But when you use it smartly, it becomes your personal classroom. You don't need to pay money. You don't need a big course. You just need a phone, internet, and the will to learn. Use apps. Use videos. Use voice tools. Use subtitles. Use your settings. Use everything. But use it with purpose. Let technology help you, not waste your time. Learn one thing each day. Speak one sentence. Listen to one video. That is enough, because every small step builds your big dream. Your phone is not just a device. It is your daily teacher. It is your mirror. It is your partner in this journey. Use it smartly, and you will speak English fluidly. It was early morning. I was still in bed, and the house was quiet. I picked up my phone and opened a simple English story. I read one short paragraph. Then I said it aloud. This is my morning habit now. I do it every day. It only takes 5 minutes, but it helps me start the day in English. I have learned something important. If you want to improve your English, you don't need to study for hours. You don't need to learn everything at once. You just need habits. Small daily habits. If you repeat small things every day, they become part of you. You don't have to think. You just do them. Like brushing your teeth or eating your meals. Now, I do the same with English. After I brush my teeth, I talk to myself in English. I stand in front of the mirror and say, "Good morning. Today is a beautiful day. I will make tea. I will study. I will grow." These are simple words, but they wake up my English brain. They make me ready for the day. When I cook breakfast, I play an English audio story. I don't stop to repeat. I just listen. My ears enjoy the sounds. My brain listens without pressure. It becomes a habit. Every time I enter the kitchen, my mind says, "Let's listen." In the afternoon, I take a short walk. While walking, I think in English. I describe what I see. A red car is moving. A man is talking on the phone. The sky is clear. These thoughts are short and simple, but they help me practice every day. I also made a fun habit in the evening. After dinner, I watch a short English video. Sometimes it's a cartoon. Sometimes it's a slow conversation. I watch with subtitles. I shadow some lines. It becomes part of my routine, like watching TV for fun, but in English. I write new words in a notebook. Just 1 or 2 words every day. I don't make long lists. I don't study hard. I just write, read, and use the words when I speak. Over time, the words stay in my mind. I also label things in my room. I write mirror, door, lamp, and window on small pieces of paper and stick them on the objects. Every time I see them, I say the word. It is a small action, but it makes me remember without effort. On weekends, I talk to myself about my week. I say, "This week, I worked hard. I read 3 stories. I watched 4 videos. I learned 5 new words. I feel proud. I speak slowly, but I speak with joy. These are my results, and they come from daily habits. Sometimes I don't feel like practicing. I feel tired. I feel lazy. But my habits remind me. They say, just do one small thing, just 5 minutes. And when I do it, I feel better. I feel strong again. Habits help you grow, even when you feel weak. They carry you forward. They make English a part of your life. Don't try to do everything in one day. Don't force yourself to study for hours. Make a small routine. Practice English for 5 minutes in the morning. Watch a short video in the evening. Read one story a day. Think in English while you walk. Talk to yourself before bed. Start with one habit, then add another. Slowly, your life will change. English will not be a subject. It will be your companion. When English becomes your daily habit, it becomes your second nature. You don't study it anymore. You live it. You don't need more time. You need more consistency. 5 minutes a day is better than 1 hour once a week. So make English your habit. Make it your morning friend. Make it your evening song. Let it grow with you day by day. It was late at night. The lights were off. I lay in bed, thinking about my day. I smiled. I read one English story, watched one short video, spoke to myself in the mirror, and learned one new word. It was not a big day, but it was a good day. A day of learning, a day of growing. I remember a time when I didn't believe I could do this. I thought I needed a teacher, a classroom, a perfect plan. I thought learning English at home was impossible. But now, I know the truth. Learning never stops at home. In fact, home is where it starts. And if you do it the right way, it can take you very far. In the last few weeks, I have made big progress. My pronunciation is better. My sentences are smoother. I understand more when I listen. I feel more comfortable when I speak. And I did all this alone at home. How? By being regular. By doing one small thing each day. By using all the tools around me, books, phones, apps, mirrors, my own voice. I used my time. I used my energy. I used my dream. Some days were hard. I was tired. I was busy. I felt slow. But I never stopped. I told myself, just 5 minutes. I did it. And slowly, those 5 minutes became a powerful habit. A habit that changed everything. At home, you are the student, but also the teacher. You decide what to learn. You decide how to learn. You decide when to learn. This gives you freedom. This gives you control. I keep a small notebook with me. I write a few words every day. I look at them at night. I don't force myself to remember. I just read and feel the words. I trust my mind. I trust the process. Sometimes I record my voice. I talk for 1 minute. I speak about my day or my feelings. Then I listen. I hear my mistakes. I hear my growth. I hear my courage. I still use shadowing. I still read easy stories. I still watch simple videos. I still talk to myself. I still think in English when I cook, walk, or rest. Every small activity becomes English practice. And the best part is, I don't need anyone to watch me. I don't need to pass a test. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to continue. That's how learning works. It never ends. It only grows. I now understand that learning English is not about speed. It's about the journey. A slow, beautiful journey, full of effort, full of patience, full of small victories. If you are learning English at home, don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry about being fast. Just keep going. Read a little. Listen a little. Speak a little. Think a little. Do it every day. Trust your journey. Your home is your school. Your phone is your tool. Your voice is your guide. Your dream is your light. You are not alone. I was there too. I started with fear. I started with silence. But I took the first step, then the second, then the third. And slowly, I found my way. And you will too. So keep learning, keep speaking, keep listening, keep reading, keep thinking. Let English grow with you day by day, step by step. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. This moment is already perfect. Just begin. Just continue. Just believe. Thank you for joining us on this insightful episode of the Easy English podcast. We hope this deep dive into self-directive learning has empowered you to embrace your English journey with renewed confidence. Remember, your dedication and consistency, even in small daily habits, are your most powerful tools. If this episode resonated with you, please like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to this channel for more easy English lessons. Now, we have a question for you. What is the one English habit you will commit to starting today? Comment below and let us know. Let's learn together. Let's grow together. Remember, you absolutely can speak English. You can learn at home. And we are here to help you every step of the way.